Boys.
Brother Mingles.
How are we all? Well,
I'm good.
it is important that you mention that it is Tom Hanks because if you don't, it does leave the door ajar to just some pretty hectic other suggestions, doesn't it?
Hectic other accents.
It's such a distinct voice, though.
I just felt like running.
Joe, you got a good Forrest Gump joke. You told me the other day.
Yeah, I do. I was watching it was like this little documentary on YouTube about how they did, like how Forrest Gump's voice came to be.
Oh, okay.
Because originally Tom Hanks was doing just sort of like a Midwestern kind of voice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then they got this kid in to audition to be young Forrest.
Yeah.
And he had this really distinct voice. And Tom Hanks...
I have heard this.
Tom Hanks ended up, he was like, yeah, I really love this kid's voice. Like, then they ended up modeling older Forrest Gump on the kid. And he was talking about, like, I love this kid. I would talk to him and he'd be like, tell me about your family. He'd be like, my dad makes grapes. And he like tells his story. And then in the documentary, I just feel it'd be hilarious if it cuts to like the kid now and he's like, Tom Hanks is a bully. Like,
I have heard that story. I think I've heard Tom tell it.
he does it all the time. Loves doing an impression of a kid.
And based on your little story, loves saying I love kids as well, which makes me a little bit nervous. We do have a big show on the cards today, which is something we don't often say on the pod. We saved that for the radio. But today is a big show. Joey is doing a bit of a run at the moment. You're doing the HBF run for a reason. What's your reason?
My reason? I wanted to run.
I wanted to, much like Forrest Gump himself.
Do you raise money for something, or does your money go to a charity when you put in? Because you buy the ticket to run.
Yeah, exactly.
It would go for a reason, right? What's the reason?
Anyway, it can be any reason.
Do they raise money for something though, don't they?
Yeah, they're probably the giant insurance fund that they are.
There you go. Shout out.
True.
And you're not doing any fundraising yourself or any
No.
causes? No.
No, fuck
His
that.
tongue's gone dry.
I'm not doing it for charity.
Okay, fair
You're
enough.
doing it for me.
Yeah, okay. That's fine. You're doing it for your own health,
Yeah.
putting your limits on yourself. You've never
And it's only
run.
12K. Maybe if I was doing like 1,000, then I'd be like, someone's got to be getting some cash for that.
That's
It
fair.
better be me, dude.
The concept that it is only 12K does bring up some stuff that we talked about on radio. There'll be a few
Only
people.
12K. Only 12K.
There'll be a few people who haven't yet caught up on the radio show that we did on the weekend. You can obviously catch that via the podcast stream, which is exactly where you're probably listening to this. We've got a little clip just outlining what we discussed on the most recent Saturday, and it does sort of project some form of challenge that we want Joey to take part in. I don't know if you boys saw during the week over in Beijing, China, they completed their first ever half marathon between both humans and robots. Give us an estimate on the fastest person.
400 Ks.
What about the robot?
Robot, hour 15.
Robot was 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Oh, so they're walking it.
Now, Joey might be getting a little bit nervous because what he said initially, I think Joey was quoted as saying, were they walking?
Were they walking?
Were they walking? Joey's got a halfer coming up.
Not a halfer.
And
12.
Joey's going to be doing it. What I've done here is worked out exactly how long it would take for the robot at 7 minutes and 37 seconds per kilometre to complete a 12K, which is what Joey's doing.
Nice.
And it would take the robot at that pace 1 hour, 31 minutes and 25 seconds. So what I would like to set up today, Joey, is a Joe v Robot race.
Ooh.
Can you beat...
Can I do it? That's my goal. My goal is an hour and a half. We can't let them win.
Joe versus robot.
Joe versus
So
robot.
you guys have procured one from Beijing, is that correct?
No, we're just doing a hypothetical Joe versus robot. As I said then, we've estimated the time based on the same K pace. So the robot was running. We've estimated the same time for the 12K. And what did I say? It's 1 hour, 32 minutes, I think it was.
Something like that, yeah.
7 minute kilometre pace, 7:37 or something.
737, yeah.
Which is easy,
A
bro.
Boeing 737.
Which is easy in theory, but once you get to those 9, 10, 11, 12,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
when they start to
The
stretch.
fatigue.
What are you doing?
Which is why I'll be doing meth before the race.
It's like the race is in 2 weeks, right? It's not this
What?
weekend. It's next weekend of time of release.
what? It is?
Yeah, at time of release.
Next year.
At time of release, you're only like 10 days away from the run.
That is
you
true.
You did mention that you are a bit nervous about the pain. We did ask on the show how the running was progressing, if you had clocked a 12K to date.
Yes,
and
I haven't.
as we mentioned, like being about 2 weeks out at the time, how that was all proceeding.
How
Get
is the
over
setup
the
at the
line.
moment? How far have you run to this point?
Last Sunday I did 9K.
Nice. How
What
quick
was your
that?
K pace?
My K pace was a little slow because I was
Right.
experiencing severe leg pains halfway through, and I pushed through.
Ooh.
Severe leg pain.
Not what you want to hear. And you really don't want to hear the pushing through the pain whilst training.
How many Ks had you done at that point before the leg pain started to become a bit of a fucking issue?
I did about 4.
Okay, that's not
I
as
know,
many
not
as
good.
I was.
But then I
hoping.
did another 5
So to double it,
with leg pain, and my pace was kind of fine.
if you're there on the day and you get to 12 and you're like, I've got enough gas in me for 9 more, are you going to finish the whole
Oil me
race?
up.
Would you finish the whole race?
I don't.
Or are
think
you on
that's how
different
it
tracks?
works.
I think it's a different track. I don't think you just do laps. You just
Yeah.
continue doing the same loop.
Same 400 meter. You get
would I
dizzy.
keep going? God no. God no.
That's sick.
Could not imagine anything
So,
worse.
what are you thinking? Like, you thinking like, leading up to the week, which is literally next week. Are you going to be like changing your diet, maybe tapering the training?
Well, I'm
And-
going up against a robot.
You are.
Yeah.
So I needed to enlist a little bit of help from one of my own.
Oh, you asked the
I
robot
turned
itself.
to the robot god
Yes.
that we've all befriended and fallen in love with. I turned to chat.
Chat. Fuck yeah, chat.
And chat is basically saying, mate,
You're fucked.
you can't do it.
Seriously?
No, he's saying, chat was saying,
May the
take
best
it
man
easy.
win.
Take it easy. So apparently in the next 2 weeks, the max I'm going to run is
Wait.
like 5-6K
Wait.
in one setting.
So you're telling me that,
so small.
so you're telling me that chat was giving you notes.
Oh.
Maybe it's trying to dox you,
Oh,
Joe.
no.
Because it is robot.
It could know its brother could be battling.
We've got
Yeah.
a mole in our midst.
Maybe chat's a mole.
Shit.
The scary thing is, you did say on radio on Saturday that you were going to do a 10K the following day.
Yep.
How'd that go?
I didn't do it because of the leg pain and consulting chat. It said
Of course, I would stop
Take it
consulting.
easy.
I
What's
think you
your-
need to stop consulting chat. Chat is basically Essendon, and it's Collingwood versus Essendon.
Yeah.
It's never going to tell you the right thing to do.
What's your
I have no one else to turn to
do you know what's equal
Us.
except my dear friends.
Us.
do you know what's equally as important as training hard? Recovering even better.
Yeah, you got to recover.
What's your recovery plan like other than not running?
Usually I just don't run. A bit of stretching after.
A
When did
bit
you-
of how many minutes of stretching after?
As little as possible.
30 to 45 seconds.
Yeah. I'll do a leg swing.
Like you could
Kick the old leg out.
because when I like train legs at the gym, I reckon I spend an equal amount of time stretching in between sets than actually training because my legs get so
I've stopped
sore.
training legs.
Yeah,
'Cause I run.
I wonder if that's a thing. That
Yeah, I don't think
is
that's
good.
great either.
Muscle conditioning is probably good for it.
So when did you actually hurt your legs? We'll quickly wrap this up.
constantly.
And what
No,
hurt?
but when did you do it? That 5K, well, you did a 9K. When was that?
At 4K
Like
Sunday.
last Sunday, yeah.
Okay.
But see that, but
So we've
that
had leg
hasn't-
pain for over
so
a
2
week.
Sundays ago, at
We've
time
had-
of release.
Oh, but it's been hurting in a different spot.
Whereabouts?
Like my ankle.
In between
Oh,
the two.
Like yeah, I was walking
In the middle of-
walking to offices yesterday. I was in on Thursday.
You haven't run in a week and you're still in pain.
Yeah, severe pain.
Wait, where did
That's
it
why you
hurt?
got to take
Your
it easy.
ankle.
Yeah, my ankle
Which
was
part,
really
though?
hurting. Like the ankle bit.
This
This bit here,
Oh, here we go.
up here.
Oh,
Right.
Just for
wow.
I know, no reason. I was walking up the stairs the other day, and I thought, green whistle.
We're hearing a few.
That's the thing. It's like on the day, you just can push through because you don't need to run again. Ever.
You keep saying this like you've done it before
I've had advice.
from chat.
No, from my dear friends at work. Who've done
Okay,
it.
right.
And one of them said he did a 10K once.
Mm.
And he'd never run that far, but on the day he just
That is the scary thing. Joe, even from now till the race, as he said, he's going to run a 5K and a 4K. That doesn't seem like that. Not even
not-
those. They don't even add up to the right amount of distance.
I know, look, but
You're going-
this was always the plan, was to never do 12K.
I would be terrified standing at the starters line and being like, everyone
never run
run
this
12.
far.
I've never
God
done
knows.
it.
I've never done that. Could you imagine standing at the 100-meter line
can't-
and Usain walks up and goes, ready to go? And you go,
I've only
I've
done
literally,
50s.
I've never made it to the end.